In part 1 of this video, we talked about some of the best summer shorts, cardigans, and flare pants. And in part 2 of this video, we have a ton more great spring summer trends to discuss. I will leave a link to part 1 in the description, but let's kick this time off with footwear. Now, the Birkenstock Boston is one of the best pieces of spring summer footwear you can get because it's super versatile. There's a number of ways you can style them. You can go the simple route with just a classic graphic tee and shorts. You can go the more menswear route with a sweater vest and a pair of slacks, or you can even style it how I love it, which is like a more workwear style, which is with, you know, a pair of cargos and like a Carhartt jacket, for example. These ones have risen in popularity along with other great, easy to wear slip-on sneakers like the Foam Runner, for example. So they do sort of live in that category. However, I do think these ones are more wearable. They come in more and better earth tone colors, and I don't know, I'm just a sucker for suede, to be honest. They're great quality, and overall, they're super easy to wear, and they're comfy. Who doesn't love a good cozy outfit? So for the next one, the sort of evolution of this, in a sense, would be the Clark's Wallabee. Now, the Clark's Wallabee is another one of those great versatile sneakers that has rich roots in hip hop and just sneaker culture in general. So, for example, Ronnie Feig and Kith use these all the time to style them in some of their lookbooks, and he actually talks about it in some interviews as well about how he would serve, because he worked in a sneaker store, how he would serve some of the guys from Wu-Tang who were all over the Clark's Wallabees in the 90s. So this does have a rich shoe, rich history in terms of sneaker culture, but once again, you can style it just like those Birkenstocks. You can wear them with, dressed up or dressed down. So the sky's the limit when it comes to these two options. Now, in terms of sneakers, New Balance is obviously having an incredible year, and they just started releasing their 650s for the people that pre-ordered it last year. So that could be a good option if you want to mix things up than the standard 550. But overall, the shoes that I'm really into these days are the Reebok Club C, as well as the Converse Chuck 70. As you can tell, I got a type, but I don't know what it is. There's just something about these shoes that are just super easy to wear, and they go with so many different pieces of my wardrobe, so I'm going to be getting a lot of wear from those shoes. Now, in terms of tops, I think that spring summer knitwear is going to be a big thing. Now, I know what you might be thinking, like, how does knitwear and summer mesh together? Well, there's a couple ways to go about it. Number one is you can get something that has brighter and more flashes of color in it. Those types of color palettes are going to lend themselves to a more spring and summery type of vibe, but you could also go the crochet route. Now, I'm a big fan of this, and basically crochet is just, there's going to be more gaps in the fabric, it's going to be more breathable, and honestly, these ones are coming in some of those earth tone colors that are just really trendy at the moment, and you don't have to go crazy spending a ton of money. You can go and go on Etsy, for example. Now, Drew Joyner had made a good point about this as well in his spring trends video, is that there are people who specialize in these types of things, and they can sell themselves on Etsy, and we'll talk about Etsy a little bit more for some other pieces. Another thing that sort of is similar to this are short sleeve sweatshirts. Now, Fear of God Essentials just dropped a new collection a couple weeks ago. Now, they have this one that's a short sleeve sweater that I think is really cool, and it sort of sparked a new sort of trend in my eyes of different ways to wear sort of that loungewear in some of those spring and summer months. So that could be another great option there. In terms of spring jackets, you can definitely go with trench coats. These have risen in popularity for sure this year, and if you live on the Pacific Northwest, or you live in Canada where I am, or you live in some of those climates where they have 4 seasons, this could be perfect for you. It's going to be raining a lot, so having something that's made from polyester or something that's a little bit more water resistant will definitely serve the purpose. And also, it just kind of has that sort of menswear aesthetic that's super popular these days from brands like Aimé Leon Dore that have sort of meshed streetwear and menswear together in such a unique way. And overall, the color palettes, the beiges, just look really great, and I think you could probably thrift a bunch of these. And I've even seen people come up on some Burberry pieces that I think would be incredible. So overall, I think that Trends Coast is just a nice elevated vibe, guys. We're maturing a bit this year. We're dressing up a bit this year. Now, in terms of pants, I think that pleated pants are a good look this year. Now, I just picked up a pair from The Gap, and what I love most about these is that they sort of have that nice menswear aesthetic to it. However, the color tone and the width of the pants sort of lends it to more of that workwear kind of look. Like, this color is very common on like Dickies work pants, for example. So the fact that it's sort of meshed and combined two styles, which would be workwear and menswear, I really love these. And like I said, it just ends itself to that sort of elevated type of look that is is very popular this year. Now, if you don't like the pleated pants, you know, Dickies 874 pants are also great. They don't have pleats on them, but they do have that crease down the middle, which I think is a great look. Now, I just picked up this forest green. I think it's called Hunter Green. And I absolutely love these. These are my new favorite pair of pants. And if one thing I would say with Dickies 874 pants is that you should definitely try them on if you're not used to wearing baggier pairs of pants, because they are pretty loose. Now, I have worn these a number of times in the past. I wore a brown pair. Now, I gotten those tailored, but I'm going to keep these though as is for these ones and just cuff them, which I think is a great look. Now, before we move on to accessories, I just want to talk about a couple styles that overall styles that I think are going to be popular and I think that you guys might like. Now, one of them is my favorite. It's called Bloke Chore, and basically it is just wearing these vintage football and soccer jerseys. Now, I'm a huge soccer fan, so getting a vintage football jersey is just a really cool look. Now, there's one guy in particular, this guy Lucas, that I see style these, and I think he does an excellent job of it. And overall, you could just throw him on with a pair of Adidas Sambas, some shorts or some jeans, and just a throwback jersey, and it's a good look there. For so many years, we've seen the NBA jerseys and the basketball jerseys. However, let's switch things up. The World Cup is coming on this year, so I'm all in on the Bloke Chore. I have a bunch of retro jerseys that I've been that have been in the vault, and now this is my time. So I think that that's a really good look. Now, in terms of accessories, I think that vintage hats are going to be a good look this year. There's a number of people that wear them really well, but overall, you guys sort of get the good aesthetic. Now, I actually just bought a bunch of these off of Etsy. I just Googled vintage hats, and then I landed on Etsy, and I saw a ton. Now, you of course could go on Grailed, for example, and go browse there. I just feel like Grailed has been groomed of all of the good stuff recently, and I don't want to pay a ton of money either. So specifically corduroy hats, I think are a huge trend this year. And like I said, I've just been seeing a ton of these on Etsy, whether they're sports teams or just random stuff. I bought this one post. I don't know, I just had a vibe to it, and I'm going with it. So yeah, I really like those. Also, to sort of, as we all know, vintage and distressed looks are really in trend, but these 1970s inspired sunglasses are really great that have sort of a yellowish or an orangish type of lens. Something that has either black or that tortoise material or tortoise print and look to it, I think is very popular with that tinted lenses, which is also a good look there. However, I also think that silk scarves, now this might be the most polarizing thing on this list. People are probably for it or against it, but there are some people who do an excellent job of pulling off the silk scarf. Now, Tyler, the Creator, who I think is one of the best dressed people on planet in terms of men's fashion. I think that he's leading the pack in my opinion. But also A$AP Rocky has been known to wear a silk scarf either over his head or around his neck. And I understand people, you're either on it or you're off, but I think that's just a vibe. And I'm a big fan of it. Now, if you want to see more spring summer trends, then click here for part 1 of this video. Or if you prefer more of my styling videos where I'm putting together so many outfits, check this one out right here to watch the New Balance 550 outfit video. So why don't we click on one of those, and I'll meet you guys there.